And keep in mind, you don't have to have money to get bonds. And you don't have to have $100,000 in your bank to get bonds. Okay, there's many creative ways that are being utilized now by carriers because they've cannibalized each other on the big guys. They're paying rates like half a point. You all will be paying 2 to 3% when you start. Okay, that's a disadvantage, but it's also recognized by the city and by other owners that that's the cost of doing business, and they do their value-based choice selection of who they're going to award contracts to, not necessarily a little bit. So keep that in mind. You don't have to have a lot of dough, but you do have to have a lot of controls. You got to be able to demonstrate that you are able to sustain those controls throughout the project. Okay, pay the bills on the project with the draws. If you need credit, okay, for supplies, we have other tools in that realm, because that's the other bastion of evil, so to speak. You got a cash flow payroll. But the point is, you don't need a lot of money. There's ways to access money now that are becoming more reasonable. You've got the factoring sharks that are now being met by more reasonable hedge fund investors. Might charge a 12 to 15% juice, but it's better than 35, let's say. Okay, and they're just basically eating up all your profit. Continuity. You don't really have to pay attention to a lot of the continuity goals unless you're going to be doing $1 million plus in sales, okay, right out of the gate. And to have a basic template of what happens in the event of your disability shows that you're mature enough to think about it to a bond company. And nobody expects, anything drastic to happen. But as you grow, they will expect you to be thinking that process through with their interactions. Maybe you want to take a vacation. What do you got in play there? What's some of your profit benchmarks? How are you doing as a company compared to 3 years ago? I'll just read this. The best results for long-term surety increases of capacity are to predict via pro forma and track each year. So if you do a business plan, okay, this is long-term thinking, and this is where a lot of small businesses don't focus because they're too busy trying to survive. You take a few minutes out and set some goals and set them low. Over deliver on these. You want to do a 500,000 in sales, make a goal for 300,000 in sales. Or 1 million, you do 700,000, whatever the case might be. And then at the end of the year, okay, the introductory bond company, okay, the tier of bond companies that services you all, okay, now will become fodder for the standard companies. So if you said you were going to do this, and at the end of the year you pretty much matched it, or you exceeded it, now you have a nice historical recount, you have a historical account, and you can get lower rates. Okay, so it's like on the job schedules. If you have an estimate, you have your initial profit, did it fade over the lifetime of the job? Or did it stay the same? It's a very patient business. And kind of the tough part with getting credit now, which is changing, thankfully, is that you need bonds to get jobs, but you can't get jobs without bonds.